Welcome to the Lead Pedal Podcast with your host Bruce Outridge, where he talks all things trucking. Now let's get rolling.
Hey everybody, how are we doing today? Welcome to another edition of the Lead Pedal Podcast. This is episode number 1150, and Happy New Year to you. Welcome to 2024, and we're going to give you some idea of some of the changes coming up on the podcast. We just wanted to say Happy New Year to all of you. Give you some idea of what's changing on the radio, some of the guests we got coming up, and the events coming up for 2024, so you get your event calendar ready in the trucking industry. You know, before we get to that, though, let me tell you about Bison. This time of year, having the right as a driver to decide when it's safe to stop and when it's safe to roll for you is vital to your success as a driver. And at Bison, they put safety first. They've got a right to decide policy that gives every driver their ultimate protection, and drivers make the final decision if it's safe to drive, and it actively encourages Bison drivers to use the policy. They're not just talking about bad weather. They're talking about if you're feeling too ill, if you've got some other issue, family issue on your mind or something like that. They encourage you to take that seriously and stop. And while we're talking about their safety, let's talk about their safety reward program. Bison's also got a safety driving reward program that financially rewards drivers for achieving safe miles. Their top-level drivers earn up to 15% more through this program, and rewards are paid quarterly and can be deposited directly into a group RSP if you choose. So there's just some of the safe reasons to be driving with Bison. That's one of the reasons that we have them here on the podcast. We know that there is a safe fleet and that they're ready to get things going. So speaking of getting things going, let's get things going for you too. What happened in 2023? We did a recap not too long ago on our thing, and now we're moving into the episode for the new year. It is a brand new year. If you're listening to this the day of, it's January 1st, 2024. Thank you so much for being with us and being on top of what's going on. We really do appreciate it. I will tell you, if you hear stuff in the background, such as birds squawking, or there was a guy cutting wood or something across the roadway, or a monkey comes and sits and becomes my co-host, these are all natural things where I am. I'm in what I call Ironing Board Studios. And Ironing Board Studios means every winter we work from a remote location. We're in the Caribbean right now, and usually I use the ironing board as my mixing desk. Skype set up my mixer and my computer and all that. Today I decided it was really nice. It's hot inside there. And of course with the fan you get the background noise. So I thought I would do this from the deck. It's fairly quiet around here today. We did have some issues that you have when you're in the Caribbean, such as a hummingbird getting stuck in our windowsills, and we had to kind of scare it back out the other way so it would go back through the door that it came in. Those are just normal issues you have when you're in the Caribbean. So if you hear some background noise, realize we're doing this for the month of January. We'll be in our Caribbean studio here, and then we're back in the regular studio after that. And so things happen, just so you know. Just so you're wondering, why is there a parrot in his backyard? Anyway, let's talk about some of the changes we've got going on. We had a great year in 2023. We hit over 1,000 episodes for the Lead Pedal Podcast, and we want to thank everybody for being part of that, being supportive of that. We've got great sponsors that have stayed with us, and we're looking forward to a 2024 that's going to be, I think, hopefully better for everybody. I know COVID, you think COVID's already gone 2 or 3 years, but it's still weighing on a lot of people's minds as far as how people are interacting with each other. And I noticed that since COVID, there's been a real issue as far as the way people are treating others. And a lot of other people have mentioned this to me as well. So for me, I think that one of the things that I would like to focus on, we're still going to focus on business and careers for the podcast, because this is just a great space for us and what I like to talk about. But I also want to talk about being better as a person, being better to each other, helping each other, and let's make the industry better. There's so many issues. I'm going to be talking about that in a couple episodes this month of how we can improve this. First of all, we got to start improving it by just realizing other cultures have the same issues and treating people the way they're supposed to be treated. And then we need to start working on the industry as a whole and bringing it up to certain standards. One would be skilled trade in my mind. And then after that, I would be certainly interested in finding out there's a lot of training around, and now that some of that needs to be centralized, but how is that going to play a part in the future as far as making sure that we've got all the right tools in place. So we certainly want to keep that going. We want to make sure that everybody is treated fairly. Everybody's got the proper training. I don't think there's anybody, whether you're an old school driver, whether you're a brand new student, that wants somebody on the road that does not know what they're doing. That's not helping anybody. It never will. It's not going to. And so we certainly don't want that. But at the same time, we do need to give people a chance to come into the industry. We need people a chance to get training and get on the road and get some experience, because I'm sure we all can say there's something that's happened over the years that happened to us, and we learned from it and we moved on. And I think we need to give new people the same choice. At the same time, some of the new immigrants and new people coming into the industry, we need to really somehow figure out a way to get across the message that the way trucking's done in a lot of other countries is not the way it's done in North America. And in North America, there's certain rules we have to follow, there's certain procedures to follow, and by being an example of that as a truck driver is going to be a real big piece of the puzzle. So for those of you that are more experienced drivers in mentor positions, trainers, whatever it might be, this is part of your role to make sure that the people coming out of whatever facility you work at are coming out and being as professional as possible. And, maybe that's making sure that we all have some kind of standard across the country. I am not going to be able to solve these problems. I am just a podcast hoster. But I can tell you from the Lead Pedal podcast standpoint, we are going to do our best to make sure that we are promoting the industry in a positive light, helping people wherever we can. We're going to try and stop the noise if we can. I don't know if we can stop trolls, but we just aren't going to engage. We're not looking for that. I'd rather, who knows when we're all going to go. If I go one day and they say, you know what, I want to say that Bruce was a positive piece of the puzzle and tried to make sure that the industry, which I loved when I've been in since I was 17 years old, is going in a positive direction. So that's where we are as far as the industry. We're going to be talking more about that as we go along this year. You're going to see a strong focus on how to treat people, how not to treat people, all that kind of stuff. A couple of our series have gone away. We had our Turn Back Tuesday. We did that for the year of 2023. They're not gone away. They're still there. But if you want to go back and listen to them, we're not going to do them for 2024. We're going to switch to some other special. I'm not going to do them right now, but we will do them in starting probably in February when I get back. But what I want to make sure that we have is that we have some really good, we want to give good business and career content. So the history part, which was our Turn Back Tuesdays, we did them every Tuesday. If you want to go back, you can go to our website, theleadpedalpodcast.com, and just click on categories and click on Turn Back Tuesdays. You can see all the one if you want to know when refrigerated trailer started or when the trucks first came on. Any of that kind of stuff is going to certainly help if you're interested in the history, which I think is a big way to make sure that people understand where our industry came from and why we're so passionate about it, because it was kind of started as a grassroots organization, if you will, and there was a lot of professionalism in the old days that we do not see in these days. Speaking of training, let's talk about training for a minute here. Ontario Truck Driving School is one of the training providers that I support. I've worked with them. I know throughout Ontario, they have 9 locations throughout Ontario. They've been around since 1978, and they are one of the top. There are a couple others, but they are one of the top professional training bodies for truck driving, heavy equipment, anything like that in the Ontario area. So if you're looking to get started for 2024 with a positive organization, a place that's going to give you the professional training requirements you need and has all the successful tools you need in order to do it, then Ontario Truck Driving School is where I suggest you go. You can learn more about them at otds.com, and I think it's going to be helpful for you if you want to get started with your training. All right, so what's going to change on the podcast? We already said that the history part of it is going to go, and that's one thing that's going to go for sure. We are going to be still having basically a daily podcast, other than there probably won't be anything on the Tuesday right now. That's the one thing we are going to keep the Lead Pedal Q&A going, and we are going to keep our featured trucks going. Although the featured trucks, you may not see a new truck every week. So what we've been doing in the past is we've always featured a new truck on the podcast every single Friday. And we are going to do that once we get into show season. But what we're going to do for the month of January at least is last year we did it in December. This year I waited until we were finished December, and now we're going to do it. So for the month of January, if you are a fan club member, you will be asked to vote every week on 4 to 5 trucks. So we're going to be putting up probably four trucks. I think we're going to pick the top 16 trucks, and we're going to do 4 trucks each week. You're going to vote on which of those 4 are the best. We're going to get down to the top 4, and then we're going to have a running one for that. And so that's what we're going to be doing kind of for the end of January, beginning of February. The prize are, as you know, for the last 3 years, we've had a featured truck of the year. And so that's what we're going to be trying to do again this year. And then we rewarded that person with they got a shirt, with a custom shirt with their truck on it. They got some swag. They got some shout-outs, a video done about them, all that kind of stuff. So those are the kind of things that we are going to do for this year. So it's going to be interesting to see, because we saw some really good. We take out all of the professional show trucks. We take out all of the trucks that we don't really know who they are, but they were just kind of at a show. We take out stuff that's not going to meet the criteria of the top criteria that we set out, and so that's what's going to start with us for this year. So that's where we're going to go. All right, so we've got our mantra for this year, as I was mentioning. We're going to talk a lot about business and careers and being good to others. Is catch the wave, and maybe we can catch that wave of goodness and get it going this year. We'll see if we can do it like a Blue Jays Blue Jays catch the wave. And then I want to know, what's one thing you'll be doing to go better in 2024. That's something that I'd really like to know how that's going to work for you, and what you're thinking for 2024. Is it going to be a matter of you're just going to treat people better? Are you going to get better training for yourself? Are you going to move into position? Are you going to accept new jobs? Are you trying to start your own business? What is it you're going to be doing for 2024? You don't have to tell us all the details. Just, if you want to, in a comment or whatever on our social media or on this post, feel free to do so and let us know what you're going to do different for 2024. And if so, we will try and support that with either some podcast interviews in that area, or other type of information that we need to do. So, all right, so let's get into who else we got to talk about here. Let's talk about RIMS Transport before I get into some of the guests that we got coming up. RIMS Transport has been a great supporter of our podcast. They're an owner-operator fleet based out of Hamilton, Ontario, and they have end dump, they have bulk tanker, and they also have flatbed work. So if you're interested in any of that work, one thing I can tell you about RIMS is I know all of the managers personally, and I know that they're there for your success. They're not the kind of operation that says, well, we'll just rake you through the coals and then we'll take whatever money and go. They've been around for a long time, and they've been around because they want people to be successful. So that's one of the things that we really care. Now, RIMS is not only a sponsor of our podcast, but a sponsor of our radio shows as well. In fact, our fan club show is from RIMS, so you want to check that out for sure now. So thank you, RIMS, for being on. Go to rimstransport.com, and you can find out all the information you need to go from to get more information depending on the division you want to get into. So rimstransport.com. Tell them we sent you. We really like those guys over there. All right, let's talk about some of our stuff happening on the radio before we go. Lead Pedal Radio, as you know, has been our sister station to the podcast, and we use it more for live events and entertainment. We have our trivia nights. We have some radio shows which are more music. We do live broadcasts from people, and we could do that as a podcast, but I think it's kind of fun to have that radio part of it going. So radio is still going to be going on. Basically, we're going to be doing 2 live shows every week. We were doing live shows. We've been trying to get it into a schedule that works for everybody, and I got to say, it's not that easy. And so we've been doing a live show every couple of weeks. We were doing live shows like 3 times a week, and then we do. So here's the schedule. Here's what we're going to do. So we have our You're Not Done Yet radio show, which is a show based on my book, where it's positive messages, a lot of reggae music, positive music, that kind of thing. That's usually Mondays at noon. And what it's going to be is going to be live one week, and then the next week the replay comes out. So every Monday you will get to see and hear that show. On Wednesdays, we have our road show, which is usually one where I pick a different, we went to Boston and, you tell some stories from the region, play music from that area. We've done the east coast of Canada. We've done Boston. We've done Texas. We'll be doing a lot more. We did, I think I did a Miami, Florida show. So if you want to hear some different music and stories from the road, that's the road show, which is on Wednesdays at noon. And again, the same format. One week it'll be live. The next week it will be it'll be the replay. Our fan club show is going to be the same thing. That's Fridays at noon, and that's where we give shout-outs for fan club members. We play music from other fan club members. We play music from new artists. That's going to be, again, the same format where we do it one Friday, and the next Friday is the replay. And then, of course, our Tropical Days show on Sunday afternoons, which is from 2 to 5. That's just a party. It's really based on what we've seen here in being in the Caribbean. And that show is going to go from, again, it'll be 1 week it's live, the next week is the replay. That format's always been there. The only other one which is probably going to be in the mix are trivia nights. We're starting those again in February when we get back, and they will be for a certain season, and then we stop. So it might be for 2-3 months we do trivia, then we stop for a month or something, and then we start up for another one. We found that was nicer taking the breaks than having them go. We went for 3 years every single Monday without a break, and it just got to be a little too exhausting. So we're going to put those breaks in. We're going to switch charities during those breaks, but our goal is still the same, to raise $1,000 for charity for the year, and we did $1,300 last year, and we were really excited about it, so we're going to do that again this year. And then we've got our In the Studio show, which is a Tuesday show. This is a musician interview show, and we're going to be doing that in our we'll be doing that regularly throughout the year. Usually Tuesdays, a live show will go, and then it will replay the rest of the Tuesdays. Our radio shows stay on Mixcloud, so you go to mixcloud.com/leadpedalradio. You can listen to any of the shows. All right, so that's one way to do that. And then the other way is to do it by having some. Then we feature music from the artist as well. So for January, we've got Crackerbox Jimmy, who you probably saw the interview last month, came out on our podcast. We'll be showcasing his music on our show in January. So watch for that show to come out on Tuesdays on our Lead Pedal Radio. All right, well, let's switch gears here for a minute and talk about Driver Check. And Driver Check, again, has been another sponsor of our podcast. They are into the mental health, mental wellness, drug and alcohol testing, COVID testing when COVID was around, workplace safety. They want to make sure you got all the proper procedures and stuff and support that you need to make sure that your workplace is safe for everybody there. So drivercheck.ca, they've been a proud supporter. Check out their Fitness for Duty Summit, which happens every year. Really excited always to work with Driver Check. And one of the things, before we get into the guests, is right now we don't have all of our guest settings listed out. It being, Christmas and New Year's and all that, we've got not too many guests signed up. So I'm going to be working out, so we won't be, but I can tell you what's going to come up the next couple weeks. First of all, you got this show here, which is episode number 1150, and this is your welcome to 2024 changes with the podcast. We're going to be talking with Jeff Scorser. Jeff is with Range Energy, and he's going to be talking with us on Wednesday about an electric trailer. You've heard a lot about electric trucks, but have we ever heard of electric trailer? This was really interesting. I was really into this. Our first Lead Pedal Q&A is going to be starting in trucking from nothing. What happens when you have nothing and you want to get started in the industry? A listener was asking some questions, and we thought we would share that. On Friday, January 5th, is going to be our first 4 trucks for you to vote on, so get ready for that. But you got to be a fan club member to be part of that. So let's get going. On episode number 1153, we're going to be talking about the new trucking. This is going to be based on skill trains and what we need to do for January or for 2024 to get things back on track. In episode number 1154, we'll be talking about some of the tips that we got from top drivers in 2023 and how you can apply those to your career going forward. And of course, we've got some more Q&As and we're going to have our featured trucks. So that's about all we've got worked out for the next couple weeks. Usually we have our guest list set almost a month ahead, but because it's Christmas and New Year's and traveling and off and all that. We haven't had that set. So we'll get that back for you here in a minute. But we do have stuff to tell you here for sure, because before we get you going and get you doing what you got to do, we got to tell you about all the events. That's right, my friends. There is a million events coming up, and I know some of you probably missed some, because of COVID. They're actually all pretty well back on schedule now. So I'm really excited to share with you this. Now, if you want to actually see the event list, go to this episode's show notes, and you can click on the actual links and go straight through to their website. There may be changes. These are at the time that we've got them, so we're not sure if that's going to be set in stone. But we certainly hope that these will be there. So, all right. So let's talk about 2024. February 15th, 2024, the Hamilton Transportation Club will be having their networking event. Again, go to hamiltontransportationclub.com. February 28th, 29th, TTSAO is having their conference. That's right, they're having it on a leap year this year, and that's going to be at the Truck Training School Association of Ontario's annual conference. Go to ttsao.com to learn more about that. That's at Lions Head Golf and Country Club in Brampton. Great if you're a new driver or a school, you want to be attending that one. Trucking Network is having their mega job fair March 2nd at the Pearson Convention Center. Of course, that's one of their largest events always. So check out the truckingnetworkevents.ca. Women with Drive is having their event on March 7th in Toronto. This is truckinghr.com. This is a great event for women in the industry. Hamilton Niagara Fleet Safety Council is having their spring seminar March 28, 2024. I believe this one's going to be a mix of safety and inspection and technology, so this should be an interesting one. Go to fleetsafetycouncil.com to learn more about that. Truck World, April 18th. April 18, 2024, Toronto, Ontario, trucknews.com. They're back into the Toronto area for this one, so make sure you check that out. National Recruiting and Retention Symposium. They're having their event on May 1st, May 2nd, Burlington, Ontario. You can go learn more at transrep.ca. If you're a recruiter, you need to be at that one. That's always a sold-out event, so get in there. Hamilton Transportation Club's having a spring address on May 2nd at the Waterfront Banquet Center in Hamilton, Ontario, and that'll be at the hamiltontransportationclub.com. Check that out. Large Cars and Guitars Truck Show. That's our Tony Justice's show, May 9th to 11th, 2024, Kodak, Tennessee. LargeCarsGuitars.com. It's going to be a good one. International Road Check is set for May 16th to 18th, 2024. Learn more about that at cvsa.org. And the Woodstock Truck Show, May 24th to 25th, 2024. This is their 20th anniversary. There's some special guests there. I can't announce yet because I haven't got the official word, but I had a sneak peek, and you will not want to miss this. That's in Woodstock, Ontario. Go to woodstocktruckshow.ca. PMTC is having their spring golf tournament. That's going to be, I'm not sure where that's going to be, but check it out on pmtc.ca. Ontario Antique Trucks usually have a spring show somewhere. Again, that's yet to be announced. CITT Conference, that's June 5th and 7th, 2024, Halifax, Nova Scotia. You can learn more about that at citt.ca conference. River City Truck Show is back, June 14th to 15th, 2024 in Grand Valley, Ontario. They were out 1 year. They didn't do anything last year, and now they're back. Check them out on Facebook. Their Facebook events for River City Truck Show. PMTC Annual Conference in Niagara Falls, Ontario, June 18th to 20th, 2024, pmtc.ca. We're going to be there. It was in Hamilton last year. They're moving it back to Niagara Falls. And the Clifford Truck Show, Clifford, Ontario, July 1st to 3rd, 2024. Of course, that's all the old trucks, and you can go to GreatLakesTruckClub.com to learn about that for sure. The 519 Loud and Proud Show in Mono, Ontario, one of our favorites for sure, July 6th to 7th, 2024. Go to 519loudandproud.com. And the Hamilton Transportation Club is having their Penske Barbecue, July 11th, 2024 at Hamilton, Ontario. Lead Pedal Radio will probably be there doing some DJ service for them, so make sure you check that out for sure. Let's see, Walcott Truckers Jamboree. That's where we were supposed to go last year, and we didn't make it out there. July 11th to 13th, 2024. Iowa80truckstop.com Trucker Jamboree. And the Great Canadian Truck Show, Grand Bend, Ontario, July 26th to 27th. 2024. Always a great show. Facebook.com/Great Canadian Truck Show. That's at the Grand Bend Motorplex in Grand Bend, Ontario. Rodeo de Camion, Notre Dame de Nord, August 1st to 4th, 2024. You can go to elrodeo.com. And Grey County Truck Show, Southgate. They had a show last year. Not sure if they're waiting to be announced, but they've got a Facebook page. They were the new show that came out last year in August. And of course, we got St. Thomas Big Rigs Nationals, St. Thomas, Ontario, August 16th to 17th, 2024. That's St. Thomas Dragway.ca Big Rigs National. Always probably one of our favorite shows of the year. Athens Truck Show, Antique Truck Club of America in Brockville, Ontario. This year it was around the 21st. I haven't heard an official date. Great show put on by Charlie Tackerberry and the team. And Truck Driver Appreciation Week in Canada, September 2nd to 7th. We will probably be at a few locations at that rate, so make sure you check out when we can be there. Seaforth Truck Show, Seaforth, Ontario, is usually the 10th of September. That's yet to be announced. And the Truck Driver Appreciation Week in the United States is September 9th to 16th. Special Olympics Ontario Truck Ride, September 13th. 14th, 2024. This is truckride.ca. This is their 20th year. You do not want to miss this one. So this will be the one that's out for sure. Trucking Network Job Fair, September 21st, 2024, Pearson Convention Center, Brampton, Ontario. The Trucking Network Events.ca. Bridging the Barrier, Mississauga, Ontario, usually around that 21st area, has yet to be announced, but that'll be out again. PMTC's Fall Golf Tournament, sorry about that, is again to be announced, PMTC.ca. 10-4DC, their truck display at the National Monument, Fredericksburg, Virginia, 10-4dc.org. Let's see. Industry Review by the Hamilton Transportation Club, October 17th, 2024, 5:30 to 9:30, Hamilton, Ontario, Hamilton Transportation Club. Driver Check Fitness for Duty Summit, October 22nd, 23rd, 2024, virtual event, drivercheck.ca. The Fleet Safety Council is having their event in Brampton, fleetsafetycouncil.com. We haven't got the official date yet. Trucking Network Job Fair, they had one in Woodstock this year. Not sure if they're doing that again. Again, that date has not been announced. TCA Canada Bridging the Borders event. That was a good one. That was in Mississauga. I'm sure they'll be back next year. Don't have an official date at this time. And ISB usually has a Biz and Breakfast. They didn't have it this year, so not sure if that's still going on, but keep an eye on isbglobalservices.com. And of course, Hamilton Transportation Club will be back with a Christmas event in December next year. All right, so we got lots of stuff coming up. That's the events. Hope you've enjoyed that. And hey, make sure you follow us on our socials. You know that we're on social. We couldn't be any more social as a podcast. So check that out for sure. And thanks for listening to the podcast. Thanks for your support. Thanks for being part of our journey, being part of our solution. Catch the wave for 2024. And we'll see you next time, my friends. You know how to follow us on all of our socials: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, X, social. You got it. You know where we are. All right, my friends. Talk to you later. Bye for now.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter.